We've been inseparable for a decade, ever since college. I treated her like a queen. But for her high school sweetheart, who had just moved back to the States, she secretly wired away the $500,000 I'd saved for our future. When I confronted her, she was indignant. Leo just got back. He needs this money to grease the wheels for his new startup. If you love me, you should want to help him. Can't you see the big picture? Staring at the transfer confirmation for $500,000, I had to laugh. I didn't argue. Instead, I immediately listed the Porsche I'd also paid for, the one registered in her name, on a dealer's site. Then I emptied the safe deposit box of the gold bars I'd bought for her. She wanted to use my money to fund her pretty boy ex? Fine. I let her have her fairy tale romance. This wedding was off. With the liquidated cash, I booked a first-class ticket. It's a big world out there. It was time for me to start living a new life. 1. I was wearing an apron, a bowl of homemade tomato bisque in my hands, when my phone screen lit up. Chase alert. A payment of $500,000 was sent from your supplementary card, ending in 5210 at 6:30 p.m. to Leo Vance. For a second, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me, or maybe it was a system glitch. $500,000. That was the money from the sale of my parents' old house, plus every dime I'd saved from 10 years of pulling all-nighters as an architect. It was our seed money, the down payment for our first home, the budget for our wedding next month. As a gesture of trust, I had put the savings account in Khloe's name, but linked the alerts to my phone. "You're so clumsy. You've spilled it everywhere," Khloe said, walking out of the bedroom. She glanced at the soup splattered on the hardwood floor with disgust. She was dressed to kill. The vintage-style red French dress was the one I'd had a friend bring back from Paris last week. It made her skin look like porcelain. The Van Cleef and Arpels necklace sparkled at her collarbone. She was putting on an earring, her movements elegant and nonchalant, as if she'd just Venmo'd someone $5, not wired $500,000. I took off the apron and held the phone up to her face, my hand terrifyingly steady. "Explain." Khloe glanced at the screen. There was none of the panic I expected. She didn't even blink. "Oh, Leo's back." She picked up her lipstick and began applying it in the hallway mirror, her tone so matter-of-fact it was like she was talking to a stranger. "He just moved back and wants to get a project off the ground here in Seattle. He needs some seed money to wine and dine some angel investors. You know how these opportunities are. If you hesitate, you lose." I couldn't just stand by and watch him miss his shot. I stared at her profile, my throat feeling like it was stuffed with cotton. "So you gave him our house fund?" "It was my money to manage. Once you put in my name, I had the right to decide what to do with it." Khloe finally turned to face me, a flicker of impatience in her eyes, as if she were dealing with a petulant child. "Ethan, can you not be so petty? Leo is at a critical stage of his startup. He said this is just a loan. Once the project takes off, he'll pay us back double." "A loan?" I laughed, pulling out a chair and lighting a cigarette. "Where's the promissory note? The collateral? What's the interest rate?" "This is $500,000, Khloe. Have you lost your mind?" Her face instantly turned cold. "Could you not be so vulgar? I know what Leo is capable of. He's brilliant. He just never got a fair shake before. Now, with a little push, he's going to fly. As my fiancé, if you love me, you should support him, support my decision. Can't you think about the bigger picture for once?" She strode over in her heels, looking down at me, her eyes filled with disappointment. "Besides, he just got back. He doesn't know anyone here. If I don't help him, who will? I guess not everyone can be like you, content to slave away at your 9 to 5 with zero ambition." I took a deep drag of the cigarette, looking at the woman I had loved for a decade. Suddenly, her perfect face seemed utterly alien. I stubbed out the cigarette in the now-cold soup. It made a soft hissing sound. "Fine, you got the big picture." I stood up, brushing non-existent dust from my hands. Khloe thought I had given in. Her expression softened slightly as she checked her watch. "Okay, I don't have time to argue. Leo's waiting for me. I won't be home for dinner tonight." She picked up her limited edition Hermes bag, my gift to her on our engagement anniversary. "Oh, and don't mention the $500,000 to my parents. You know how they worry. Once Leo makes it big, I'll make sure they see you in a new light." And with that, she left in a cloud of perfume, walking out the door without a backward glance. The moment the door clicked shut, I pulled out my phone and dialed a number. Hey, Mikey, you said you were looking for a Porsche 718, right? Yeah, I'm done with it. Selling. Cash only. You can come pick it up right now. 2. After hanging up, I looked around the apartment I'd lived in for 3 years. Everywhere I looked, there was a trace of Khloe. The stuffed animals piled on the sofa, the fashion magazines scattered on the coffee table, the matching electric toothbrushes in the bathroom. I used to think it was cozy. Now it just felt like a cruel joke. I'm an architect. I've clawed my way up in this industry for 10 years, from a C80 monkey to a junior partner. To give Khloe the best, I took on so many side projects that I once gave myself a bleeding ulcer. I'd schmooze clients until I ended up in the ER. She wanted a Porsche. I bought it without a second thought. She wanted a sprawling condo downtown. I sold my family's home to make the down payment. And for what? So she could take my blood, sweat, and tears and use it to grease the wheels for the jerk who dumped her years ago. Now, I knew all about him. This guy wasn't some hotshot entrepreneur. He'd flamed out overseas. Just a few days ago, I saw some old college friends gossiping in a group chat. They said Leo had racked up huge gambling debts in Australia and had to flee back to the U.S. to escape the loan sharks chasing him. And Khloe, the idiot, was being played for a fool and was still helping him count the money. But I no longer had any desire to warn her. Respect her choices. Let go of the need to save her. Half an hour later, Mikey arrived downstairs with 2 guys to inspect the car. The pink Porsche 718 was parked in its designated spot. The car was registered in Khloe's name, but because she was a magnet for traffic tickets, I kept the title and registration to handle the fines. I also had the spare key. You sure about this, man? Mikey asked, circling the car. It was in pristine condition, with only 10,000 miles on it. Isn't this Khloe's baby? I tossed him the keys and all the paperwork. Cut the crap. 50 grand. Wire it now, and the car is yours. The market value was at least 70,000. I was giving him a steal. Mikey's eyes lit up. Afraid I'd change my mind, he immediately transferred the money. Done. You got it, Ethan. If Khloe asks, tell her I sold it. If she has a problem, she can come find me. Watching Mikey peel out, the roar of the engine finally releasing some of the pressure in my chest. Back in the apartment, I went straight to the study, moved the painting on the wall, and revealed the safe behind it. The combination was Khloe's birthday. Inside, 10 100-gram gold bars were stacked neatly. I bought them a couple of years ago when gold was cheap, as a nest egg for our future. With the price surge, they were worth a small fortune now. I grabbed a black backpack and swept them all inside. Her jewelry, too. Everything I'd bought her. The Cartier bracelet, the Bulgari necklace, and the 2-carat diamond engagement ring. Anything of value went into the bag. As for the cheap fast fashion stuff she'd bought herself on Amazon, I didn't touch a thing. When I was done, I sat on the now-empty floor and opened the Expedia app. I wasn't going to some soul-searching retreat in the mountains like in the movies. That sounded miserable. I booked a first-class ticket to Miami. A 5-star hotel with an ocean view suite cost $800 a night. I'd never been willing to splurge like that before, believing every penny earned in this city had to be spent wisely. Now I saw things differently. Money is only yours when you spend it on yourself. Spending it on a woman like her was just throwing it down the drain. 3. On the way to the airport in an Uber, I blocked Khloe on everything. But that wasn't enough. I sent a group text to both our parents. The message was simple. Khloe transferred our entire $500,000 house fund to Leo Vance. The wedding is off. I will try to get the money back, but if I can't, consider a lesson learned. Take care. Message sent. Power off. SIM card out. The sequence was smooth as silk. The first-class lounge was quiet, with only a few other people. I poured myself a glass of champagne and watched the planes take off and land outside the window, feeling a sense of peace I hadn't felt in years. There was no gut-wrenching pain, just a relief of crawling out of swamp. Excuse me, is this seat taken? A crisp, intoxicating perfume wafted over. I looked up. A woman in a black slip dress stood there. Wavy hair, sunglasses pushed up on her head, an iced Americano in her hand. She was stunning, with a sharp, almost aggressive beauty. I glanced at the empty seat next to me. It's free. Be my guest. After she sat down, she didn't pull out her phone. Instead, she looked curiously at the overstuffed black backpack at my feet. Are those gold bars? She asked suddenly, her voice husky and languid. My hand holding the champagne flute paused. I looked at her, wary. She smiled, and the beauty mark near the corner of her eyes seemed to dance. Don't worry. I saw the TSA agent's face when you went through security. Besides, she pointed to a corner of the backpack, where the sharp edge of a gold bar was clearly outlined against the fabric. The shape is pretty obvious. This woman was perceptive. Making a run for it with your life savings? She asked, swirling her coffee with a hint of amusement. Something like that, I said, taking a sip of champagne. Just crawled out a hole. Figured I'd go blow it all. What a coincidence. She pulled a pack of slim cigarettes from her purse, placing one between her fingers without lighting it. I also just ended a terrible relationship, heading to Miami to drink myself into oblivion. Care to team up? I raised an eyebrow. Team up. We split everything. If we have fun, we'll have a few drinks together. If not, we go our separate ways. I'm not after your gold, and you're not after me. How about it? She extended a hand, her nails painted a deep, midnight blue. Sasha. I looked at her hand and, on some strange impulse, shook it. Ethan. Her palm was dry and warm, with a subtle, ambiguous charge. My new life, I thought, seemed to be starting even faster than I'd expected. 4. It wasn't until noon the next day that Khloe realized something was wrong. She had been out drinking with Leo last night. To maintain her image as a wealthy benefactor for her high school sweetheart, she had insisted on picking up the tab. Dinner for two had cost over $3,000. Leo, that useless leech, had said all the right things. Oh, I couldn't possibly let you pay, while putting his wallet away without a moment's hesitation. When Khloe woke up, her head was pounding. She called out instinctively, Ethan, can you give me a glass of water? No response, only the low hum of the Roomba bumping against the wall. She sat up, frowning, a surge of irritation rising within her. Ethan James, you've grown a backbone, have you? Giving me the silent treatment now. Barefoot, she walked out of the bedroom into the empty living room. There was no comforting bowl of oatmeal on the table, nor was there the man who always waited with a gentle smile for her to wake up. So childish, Khloe scoffed. She grabbed her phone to call me, ready to unleash a tirade about how petty I was being. But the call went straight to a recorded message. The number you have dialed has been disconnected. She sent a text. A single, glaring red exclamation mark appeared next to it. He blocked me. Khloe laughed in disbelief, tossing her phone onto the sofa. Fine, Ethan, you have fun with that. Let's see how long you can keep this up. In her mind, this was just me throwing a tantrum over the $500,000. It wasn't the first time we'd argued. Every time I got upset, all it took was a little smile from her or a post on Instagram about a cake she was craving. I would come running back, tail between my legs. She was certain I couldn't live without her. A decade of history, combined with my usual doting, yes-man behavior, had given her an unshakable confidence. Khloe didn't give a second thought. She took a shower, put on some makeup, and prepared to go pick up Leo to look at potential office spaces. Since she'd provided the funds, she naturally had to play the part of the supportive partner. She walked into the underground garage, humming a song as she approached her parking spot. The next second, the humming stopped abruptly. The spot where her Porsche 718 should have been was empty, leaving nothing but a patch of dust. Where's my car? Khloe froze. Her first thought was that it had been stolen. She was about to call the police when she remembered that I had the keys and the registration. A terrible feeling crept over her. She quickly called Mikey, my friend who worked in used luxury cars. Mikey answered almost immediately, his voice dripping with schadenfreude. Well, hello. Oh, wait, I mean Ms. Davis. To what do I owe the pleasure? Cut the crap, Mikey. Where's my car? Did Ethan take it? Oh, not at all, Mikey said with a chuckle. Ethan sold it to me. We transferred the title last night. All paperwork in order. If you want to buy it back, you can, but it'll have to be at the current market price. He sold it. Khloe felt the world spin, nearly losing her balance. On what grounds? That's my car. My name is on the title. Now, Ms. Davis, let's be honest. You and I both know who paid for that car, don't we? Besides, Ethan had the title, the registration, a copy of your driver's license, and a signed power of attorney. The sale was completely legal and above board. Mikey paused, then delivered the final blow. Ethan said it was his hard-earned money, and he wasn't about to let it be wasted on a thankless. Well, you get the picture. He got 50 grand for it. A little something to recoup his losses. Beep, beep, beep. The line went dead. Khloe stood there, her hand gripping the phone so hard her knuckles turned white. It wasn't the car she was heartbroken about. It was the fear. The man who had always cherished her, who would do anything she asked. This time, it seemed he was really gone. No, impossible. He wouldn't dare. This had to be a bluff, a tactic to make her back down. Khloe took a deep breath, muttering to herself through gritted teeth. You've gone too far, Ethan James. Selling my car? Fine. Just wait until I get a hold of you. You'll be on your knees begging for 3 days straight before I even think about forgiving you. 5. The Miami sun was fierce and hot. Sasha and I didn't share a room, but we had adjacent suites. She was the kind of woman who knew how to live. During the day, she took me diving and surfing. At night, we'd find a quiet bar to listen to live music or go hunting for crabs on the beach. She never asked about my past, and I never pried into hers. We were like two wounded animals, licking our wounds on this strange island, or maybe just keeping each other warm. On the third night, we were drinking on the hotel balcony. The sea breeze tousled her long hair. She was slightly drunk, her eyes hazy as she looked at me. You know, Ethan, you're actually a pretty charming guy, she said, her finger tracing my Adam's apple. Was that woman blind? I smiled, downing the rest of my whiskey. Not blind, just confident that she could get away with anything. So, are you over it now? I don't know, I said, looking out at the dark expanse of the ocean. But at least it doesn't hurt anymore. Sasha laughed softly and leaned in to kiss me. It was a kiss that tasted of whiskey and salty sea air. There were no games. In the world of adults, sometimes the body is more honest than the heart. We slept together that night. It was wild, a much-needed release. There were no promises of forever, only a raw, primal catharsis. Afterward, I was leaning against the headboard, smoking a cigarette, while Sasha curled up against me like a cat. The new phone on the nightstand suddenly vibrated. It was an unknown number from a Seattle area code. I had a pretty good guess who it was. Sasha opened her eyes, glancing lazily at the screen. The ex. Yep. Answer it. Put on speaker. I want to hear how desperate she is. With a mischievous grin, Sasha reached over and hit the answer button. Ethan James, you finally decided to answer your phone. Khloe's shrill voice filled the room. Where the hell have you been? Do you have any idea? I've been trying to reach you for 3 days. Your parents are furious with you. And what gave you the right to sell my car? You transfer that money back to me right now. That was my car. I took a drag from my cigarette, exhaling a slow plume of smoke. My voice was so calm it surprised even me. Khloe, it was my money that bought the car. What's yours is mine. We're getting married. Your money is my money. She yelled, her logic unassailable in her own mind. You get back here right now, and you bring back the money from the car and all those gold bars you stole. Leo's project is stalled because of you. That $50,000 was supposed to be the next installment, and now his partners are getting cold feet. Do you have any idea what a huge mess you've made? Before I could even respond to that, Sasha, nestled against my chest, let out a sound. The small laugh was crystal clear in the quiet room. The phone went silent. A few seconds later, Khloe's voice came back, hysterical. Ethan, is there a woman with you? How dare you cheat on me? We haven't even broken up. This is cheating. How could you do this to me? To our 10-year relationship. I crushed the cigarette into the ashtray and replied flatly. Khloe, we did break up the moment you wired my life savings to Leo. And don't call me again. I find it disgusting. I hung up and blocked the number. Sasha looked at me, a new level of appreciation in her eyes. Well played. She climbed on top of me, her gaze sultry. As a reward, how about we go for another round? 6. Khloe was standing in the hallway of a karaoke bar in Seattle. She was holding a borrowed phone, shaking with a fury that made her nails dig into her palms. Disgusting? He called me disgusting. And he found another woman. The immense shame and anger were suffocating. The door to their private room opened, and Leo walked out. He was wearing a suit that looked sharp from a distance, but was poorly tailored up close. He reeked of alcohol and had a fake look of concern on his face. Khloe, what's happening? Did you get a hold of Ethan? The money. If we don't get it soon, Mr. Harrison over there isn't going to sign the contract. Leo's eyes darted around, avoiding hers. There was no Mr. Harrison. There was only the loan shark who had been chasing him. The $500,000 had paid off part of the principal, but he still owed over $100,000 in interest. They had told him that if he didn't pay up by the end of the week, they were going to break one of his legs. He had assumed Khloe was a bottomless ATM who could squeeze out a bit more, that the sale of the Porsche would cover the rest. Who knew that Ethan, that quiet pushover, would suddenly snap, not only taking the money but selling the car as well. Khloe looked at the man she had loved for so many years. For some reason, an image of Ethan bustling around in their kitchen flashed through her mind. I couldn't reach him, Khloe lied. She didn't want Leo to know Ethan already had another woman. It would make her look like a failure. What about the car? Leo pressed, grabbing her shoulders. The car has to be there, right? We could use it as collateral for a few $100,000. The grip was painful, and she instinctively pushed his hand away. The car is gone. He sold it. What? Leo's face contorted into a snarl, the charming mask cracking. How could you not even keep an eye on a car? It was in your name, wasn't it? How could you be so useless? The words hung in the air, stunning them both. Khloe's eyes widened in disbelief. Leo, what did you just say? You call me useless? To help you, I've been branded a thief by my own family. I'm fighting with my parents, and my fiancé has left me. And you're calling me useless? Realizing his mistake, Leo quickly adopted a pained expression and slapped himself hard across the face. I'm sorry, Khloe, I'm so sorry. I'm just so stressed. You know how much this project means to me. The pressure is killing me. He pulled her into an embrace, burying his face in her neck, his voice choked with emotion. I don't want you to suffer with me. I want to give you the best of everything. But right now, I just feel so helpless. It was a classic move, and he was a master at it. Khloe's anger instantly melted away, replaced by pity. She patted his back, a determined look in her eyes. Don't worry, I'll figure something out. Ethan can run, but he can't hide. His parents are still in Seattle. I don't believe for a second he won't show his face. And besides, the invitations for our wedding have already been sent out. Khloe gritted her teeth, a cruel glint in her eye. If he doesn't come back, I'll ruin his reputation. 7. I spent a week in Miami. During that week, I posted frequently on my Instagram stories. But I blocked all our mutual friends, making them visible only to Sasha and a few business contacts. I never expected Khloe to show up at my firm. As a partner, I didn't have to be in the office every day, but the receptionist knew Khloe. The receptionist sent me a message on Slack. Ethan, your fiancée is here making a scene. She's telling everyone you stole her money and ran off with a mistress. She's threatening to hang a banner in the lobby. I was lounging on a beach chair, sipping coconut water, when I read the message. Sasha leaned over to read it and clicked her tongue. Is this woman crazy? Who even does the whole make a public scene thing anymore? She's not crazy. She's desperate. I knew Khloe all too well. She was under immense financial pressure, and with that bloodsucker Leo breathing down her neck, her only hope was to force me to show up. Her plan was to tarnish my reputation so badly that I'd have to come back and clean up the mess. Then she'd use public opinion to pressure me into giving her money to make the problem go away. A clever plan. Too bad for her. I wasn't the same Ethan anymore. I replied to the receptionist. Call the police. Tell them she's trespassing and causing a disturbance. And send me the security footage. Then I call my lawyer friend, Mark. Mark, I need you to draft a cease and desist. Also, can you do a background check on a guy named Leo Vance? I want to know everything about his time abroad. If she wanted to play dirty, I was ready to get in the mud with her. After the call, Sasha looked at me with a wry smile. Looks like your vacation is over. Not yet, I said, putting on my sunglasses. Let's let the pot simmer a little longer. It's not hot enough yet. When everyone in town is talking about it, that's when we'll make our move. Khloe's stunt at the firm ended with her being escorted out by the police. She got off with a warning, but the story spread like wildfire through our social circles. Friends who didn't know the situation started messaging me. Some offered sympathy, others called me irresponsible. Khloe's parents blew up my phone. I didn't answer a single call. Until 3 days before the wedding. I flew back to Seattle. I didn't tell anyone. I checked into a suite at the Four Seasons downtown with Sasha. She insisted on coming along, saying she wanted to see how the drama ended. The moment I landed, I received a long text from Khloe. It was an essay, thousands of words long. It started with our childhood friendship and ended with my current heartlessness, detailing her grievances and my cruelty. The gist of it was, if you come back now, pay back the money, and get the car back, I will forgive you. The wedding will go on as planned, and I will still be your wife. I read the tear-jerking novel and replied with 3 words. And why would I? Seconds later, my phone rang. It was Khloe. This time I answered. Ethan James, you finally show your face. Her voice was hoarse and weary. Where are you? We need to meet. A meeting isn't necessary, I said, looking out at the glittering city lights. My voice was detached. I came back to officially call off the wedding. Call it off, Khloe sneered. We've sent out hundreds of invitations. All our friends and family are coming. Are you trying to humiliate my family? Then marry your high school sweetheart, Leo, I said lightly. He has the money. He has the girl. It's a perfect match. You'd be doing the world a favor by keeping each other off the market. Khloe was speechless. You'll regret this, Ethan. I'll be fine without you. But who's going to want a bitter, money-obsessed man like you? That's not something you need to worry about. Just then, Sasha walked out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel. Her voice was husky and playful. Honey, can you come dry my hair? Her voice wasn't loud, but it was clear enough for the phone to pick up. Click. She had hung up again. I stared at the dark screen, a cold smile on my lips. You can't handle that, Khloe. The show is just getting started. 8. The day of the wedding arrived. Khloe hadn't canceled it. That was Leo's idea. He told her that if they went ahead with the reception and I was a no-show, I would be the one in the wrong. They could then smear my name, paint me as the villain who got cold feet and ran off with the money. It would not only garner sympathy, but also give them leverage to pressure my parents for compensation. I had to admit, while Leo was a failure at business, he was a natural at this kind of scummy manipulation. The Fairmont Olympic Hotel. The ballroom was filled with guests. Khloe stood at the entrance, wearing the wedding dress she had chosen for our wedding. There was no groom. She told everyone I was on a business trip and flying back. Leo, in a groomsman's suit, bustled about, looking more like the groom than I ever would have. I walked in with Sasha on my arm, holding our invitation. My appearance caused an immediate stir. Hey, isn't that the groom? Why is he coming in through the main entrance? And who is that woman with him? She's gorgeous. What is going on? Is this wedding happening or not? The whispers rippled through the crowd. When Khloe saw me, her eyes lit up, and she instinctively started towards me. But when she saw Sasha, she froze. Sasha was wearing a stunning, form-fitting black gown. Her presence was magnetic, a showstopper. Next to her, Khloe, in her white wedding dress and looking exhausted, seemed to fade into the background. Ethan James, you finally decided to show up. Khloe's mother, my once future mother-in-law, stormed over, pointing a finger in my face. What are you doing bringing this harlot here? Are you trying to give us all a heart attack? I gently pushed her hand away and straightened my suit jacket. Ma'am, please don't misunderstand. I'm not here to get married. I walked to the center of the stage and picked up the microphone. The entire ballroom fell silent. Khloe's face went pale. She knew what was coming and screamed as she lunged for the microphone. Ethan, shut up. Security, get him out of here. But Leo stopped her. He stared at me with venom in his eyes, confident that I wouldn't dare to air our dirty laundry in public. He bet wrong. To all our friends and family, I apologize for this spectacle, I said, my voice booming through the ballroom sound system. Today's wedding is canceled. The reason is that the bride, Ms. Khloe Davis, took the liberty of transferring the $500,000 I'd saved for our down payment and wedding expenses to this groomsman here, her first love, Mr. Leo Vance. The room erupted. All eyes were now on Khloe and Leo. You're lying. You're slandering me. Khloe shrieked, looking completely unhinged. It was alone. I pulled out a stack of printed bank statements and screenshots of text messages, scattering them into the air like confetti. Feel free to take a look. Here's the wire transfer. Here's proof that Mr. Vance is wanted for gambling debts in Australia. And here are the text messages where Khloe discusses mortgaging my condo to help him pay off those debts. A couple so deeply in love deserves to be together. I, Ethan James, am happy to step aside. The papers fluttered down. Guests picked them up, murmuring and pointing. Khloe's parents saw the evidence on the floor, and her mother fainted. Leo was in a full-blown panic. He never imagined I would have dug up his history in Australia. If his loan shark saw this, he was finished. "Ethan, I'm going to kill you," Leo roared, grabbing a champagne bottle and charging at me. Thud! Before he could reach me, Mikey and a couple of my other friends, who had been waiting for this, tackled him to the ground. "Stay down," Mikey said, planting a foot on Leo's back. "You want to assault someone after taking their money? You got a lot of nerve." The scene descended into chaos. Khloe collapsed onto the floor, her pristine white dress now stained with dirt and spilled wine. She looked at me, her eyes vacant, as if her soul had left her body. "Ethan, how could you do this to me?" I looked down at her without a trace of pity. "Khloe, this was an expensive lesson, but I hope it taught you something. No one is going to wait for you forever. Oh, and remember to pay me back. My lawyer will be in touch tomorrow." With that, I took Sasha's hand and, under the complex gazes of everyone in the room, turned and walked away. I didn't look back. After the wedding fiasco, Khloe's family became a laughingstock in Seattle. Her parents were so furious they were hospitalized and subsequently disowned her. As for Leo, his fate was even worse than I had imagined. After my bombshell at the reception, his creditors, who had been tipped off, came calling. They cornered him in an alley that night and broke his leg. The police finally caught up with him. Due to charges of international fraud and his mountain of debt, he was looking at several years behind bars. The $500,000 was, of course, gone. Leo had already used it to pay off other debts. But the debt now fell squarely on Khloe's shoulders. She was the one who made the transfer, and her name was on the loan document she'd signed. I didn't let her off the hook just because she was pathetic. I pursued every legal avenue. The small condo she owned, her only remaining asset, was seized by the court and auctioned off to partially repay me. It wasn't the full amount, but it was enough to cripple her financially. 6 months later, I opened a boutique hotel in Napa Valley. I was the architect. Sasha was the general manager. It was a beautiful afternoon. The sun was warm. I was relaxing on a lounge chair in the courtyard, watching Sasha mix cocktails for guests. My phone vibrated. It was a picture message from an unknown number. The photo showed Khloe in a supermarket uniform, stocking shelves. She had lost a lot of weight. The arrogant glint in her eyes was gone, replaced by the dull, exhausted look of someone worn down by life. The text below it read, "Ethan, I regret everything." I stared at the photo, feeling nothing. It was like looking at a complete stranger. "What are you looking at?" Sasha asked, walking over with 2 mojitos. She glanced at the screen. "Oh, look, it's the ex. Life's been rough, huh?" I smiled, hit delete, and tossed the phone aside. Nothing, just spam. I took one of the glasses and clinked it against hers. To freedom. To a new life. A gentle breeze blew through the valley. The sunlight sparkled. I knew my life was just beginning.